Joe Lane. We're going to be talking with Joe about the Run for the Red, White, and Blue. That's coming up for Chenault Aviation and Military Museum. 8:46 time-wise. I am Rick Godley. We just fired up the live stream as we have our guest in the studio, Mr. Joe Lane, and no stranger to these confines. And what do I mean by that? Well, you've been in the deeper and tighter confines with Rick Godley there. Joe, I think you and I have... we've met at a couple of radios. Were we ever on the Hill radio together? Did you ever come there?
I don't think I did, Rick.
Okay, you didn't do there, but you did the Peach radio, and then you did the Bike Smith Studios in downtown.
I did.
And then last year, was it here for the first time, and you always come back, and I do appreciate that, and because we have the Run for the Red, White, and Blue to benefit the Chenault Aviation and Military Museum. Let me pop up. There is the logo. That's going to be this coming Saturday, the Run for the Red, White, and Blue. It's a benefit for Chenault Aviation and Military Museum. Before we get into the details of exactly what Saturday is going to be, talk about the Chenault Aviation and Military Museum, because as you know, Nell Calloway and a bunch of volunteers are doing a great thing there. There's still a lot of people that don't know the value of Chenault Aviation and Military Museum. Tell us about it.
Well, I met somebody just the other day that came up to me and said, Joe, I had no idea that Nell Calloway was the granddaughter of General Claire Chenault. Right. And I thought everybody knew that. But the museum, they've just opened up, in the last year, their aviation park, and they are featuring some really great restored planes. Mm-hmm. But the museum itself, it is just a jewel. Y'all have a similar jewel in Ruston. The Chenault Museum is just a jewel in the West Monroe area. They do so much for veterans and their families with their outreach programs and this sort of thing. I was in there the other day getting ready, and a group from one of the high schools had come through, and they toured that museum, and I tell folks, these young folks, they realize that heroes don't wear capes, heroes wear camouflage. And Nell always likes to tell these young folks as they come in, as you see these people and you all these things that they've done, one day you may be in a position that you have to do that same sort of thing. So their outreach for the community, it's for children, it's for, the teenagers, all kind of things just for the community as a whole. But the things that we do as we're putting together Run for the Red, White, and Blue, the monies that we raised, and this is our 12th annual event. And
I was going to ask that, okay.
And Rick, you've been, I feel like we've been together forever doing this, but the money that we raised for this goes primarily for the Veterans Outreach Programs, the PTSD programs, the Library of Congress, oral histories, it's just such a list of things. Their logo, I think, it's more than a museum, and that is certainly true.
Well, not only that, Joe, you're explaining, and it's not a static museum. It's a living museum where veterans can come. Veterans do share. Non-veterans come and share. And also you have, as you mentioned, the outreach programs, because I don't know about you, I'm not military, and we may have this assumption, well, since you joined and it's up to the government to take care of you. Well, no, we the people are the government, and we need to take care of our veterans that are coming home.
It's certainly, they've paid a pretty good sacrifice. Mm-hmm. And of course, Memorial Day, when we're having our event, that's the day, that weekend, that honors those that paid the ultimate sacrifice. Right. And so, we've been very blessed that this thing has become the largest such event in North Louisiana now. And we have a great walk run. I tell folks, if you're an elite runner, this is the course for you.
That's you, right?
But well, I'm not sure about that. Maybe a few years ago, not too bad. But then you've got, but a lot of times, you've got folks that just maybe walk only occasionally, or just want to come out and do this little thing with us. So we've got a 1K walk, and so it's for the family. I looked before I came over to visit with you. Our youngest participant so far this year is 4. and we have a number of folks in their 80s, and we've got people all in between. So if you're an elite runner, come join us. If you're someone that just wants to come out and just do a short walk with us, or I'll tell you another part of what we do, we make this also an observance for Memorial Day.
Right.
It's important that we remember why we're out there. So we have prayer, we have the national anthem, we have the color guard, we have the playing of taps, we have patriotic music. We do that part, and we take that very seriously as well. And we've got some folks, Rick, what they do is they'll register, come out, and they don't walk or run. They simply just want to be a part of what's going on out there, and to be a part of the observance, the celebration that we're doing. So we've just got a ton of folks out there that, the last thing I guess I'd say about that is that, I tell people, look, if you want to do something to feel good about America, if you want to do something to honor those that paid the ultimate sacrifice, try something different. Come out to the Chenault Aviation and Military Museum this Saturday. 8 o'clock is when the walk run starts with the firing of the cannon. It's a real cannon, and it's real loud. And you can feel really good about yourself, and by 10 o'clock it's all over, and you can head off with the other Memorial Day celebrations that you have.
All right, that's going to be this Saturday at the Chenault Aviation and Military Museum, Kansas Lane. That's where you turn right as you're going to the airport. Also, I know that Benny Evans has always been whatever you need, so let's give him props, and he doesn't do it to get the props. I know that, you know that, but let's talk about the sponsors, Chevron and Daily Press.
Yeah, I mean, it all goes back to Benny Evans and Evans Oil Company. Benny has a real place in his heart for veterans. He has taken a number of World War II veterans down to New Orleans to tour that museum. And you're right. He likes to be left on the side, so to speak. He does not want a lot being said about he or his organizations, but he really supports this museum each year. He is our corporate sponsor, and he and Evans Oil and Chevron and Daily Press, and I'm telling you, they are a huge part of what makes this a success.
All right, the youngest is 4, and also you have a Facebook page, an event page. I think Laura, your daughter, has set it up, where it's so simple that you go to Chenault Aviation and Military Museum Facebook page. There is another offshoot of that where folks can find out all the details and actually sign up to run and or not run, as
That's
you're
right.
saying too.
Whatever.
Do the whatever, the virtual run for the red, white, and blue, where you virtually sweat.
That's it. I was talking about signing up. Those people that like to sign up and this sort of thing online, our online registration is open until noon this Friday.
Okay.
Then, of course, you can come by the museum. We're pretty much living out there, and will be more and more so as we get closer to Saturday. You can come by the museum from 9 to 4 and register at the museum any day this week if you want to do it that way. And there's race day registration. You can come out the day of the event and register. Now, I tell folks this, the firing of the cannon in the beginning of everything starts at 8 o'clock. If you want to do the race day registration, come out a little after 7. Let us get you parked, and then let us get you registered and get you in place for that cannon to fire. It's crowded out there, and there's a lot of folks, and we love it, and I think the folks love being out there. But give yourself a little time to get registered if you want to do the race day registration.
Well, in my career, if you want to call it that, profession of doing some live streaming like we're doing right now here in radio, I went over to the Battle of Pleasant Hill for the Civil War reenactment on that, Joe, and those cannons are pretty loud. Now, when they fired those cannons, we're living in 2024, and a lot of car horns started honking, so it kind of broke the atmosphere. So I would dare say, the folks, you better be prepared when that cannon goes off, that your car alarm may just go off. Has that happened in the past? Do you remember?
I'm not sure. One of the good things about it at 8 o'clock in the morning, Memorial Day Saturday, at the Chenault Museum, there's not a lot of, cars are parked and everything. I don't remember too much of that going off, but I do know this. If you're not awake fully before that cannon, and you're not sure you can walk or run that 1K or that 5K. After that, and by the way, we fire the cannon for the 5K walk run at 8 o'clock, and then at 8:05 the 1K starts, and we do the same thing.
Oh.
We fire the cannon for them too, and it's just kind of a neat touch, and everybody enjoys that. Just kind of put us in the right mood. Again, it made me think. We also try to do special T-shirts every year, and they have a military theme. And we've got special shirts again this year. Everybody that finishes either the 1K or the 5K, they get a finisher's dog tag, which has the same emblem and everything as the shirt has. And then if you're so fortunate as to place with a medal, that has the same logo and everything as well. So there's some neat things that you receive from being out there as far as shirt and dog tag. But I think the most important thing is just being there and being a part. And I don't know whether I should use the word challenge, but if you've been out there, I probably expect you to be back, because people do return on this, thank goodness. But if you haven't and you think, okay, I'm going to try something different. Like you said, Rick, Saturday at 8 o'clock, get there early, the run for the red, white, and blue, and this is the 12th time we've done this.
Well, I'm posting up the picture here. Joe Lane is our guest here at the new Rue 102, 102.3 online, kwxmfm.com. This is the 12th anniversary, if you will, or the 12th annual Run for the Red, White, and Blue. I got the picture of the flags. Was that up in the very beginning, or am I misremembering that became a feature and it's kind of an inspirational feature?
Rick, I'm old enough now that I could not tell you for sure if we did that in year one or not. If we did, it was a little bit more of an abbreviated version of that now. But one of the other things I guess I've emphasized this cannon at the start. At the finish, the last 300 yards is just dead straight to the finish line, and we have the entire 300 yards lined with 4 by 6 foot American flags, and they're flying in the breeze because it's always breezy. And then we have a big, huge American flag that is draped over the finish line. And I'm telling you, and I'll say this, individuals and businesses, they will sponsor one of those flags.
Okay.
We started that about 4 or 5 years ago. And so what happens is, if you want to sponsor one of those, we call them flags of freedom, you can sponsor it in memory of someone, or in honor of someone, or just for whatever you want to do. And we have gotten to the point now where every one of those flags are now sponsored by someone. And so it's a really beautiful sight to run down between all those flags, and then you see all those sponsor signs of people doing it in memory of or in honor of folks. So it's a great way to start. It's a great way to finish.
And then one more question, Joe Lane, our guest here. Who did this picture of Claire Chennault overlooking the crowds? I'm guessing this was a watercolor. I don't know.
Well, what that started out as was a picture. There is a statue of General Chennault right there in front of the museum, and somebody took a picture a couple of years ago of his statue and of the crowd out there.
Wow.
Now, I'm not like you are, Rick, that's totally techy and you can do all these things with everything, and I can't do that. But someone took that picture and did what they needed to do to make it the front of our brochure for last year. So that actually, if you come to the museum on Saturday, you can stand right where you would stand, and you can take that exact same picture with your, the flag from the fire truck, all the people there. That's an actual photo that's been done. Whatever you do to get it on a brochure.
And so the Run for the Red, White, and Blue this coming Saturday, Chennault Aviation and Military Museum, hours of operation. It's totally free. Is that right, Joe, for people? It's
totally free, and of course they'll be doing tours of the museum on that Saturday as well. A lot of times folks like to come in and tour the museum while they're there. And I always tell people that museum is twice as large on the inside as it is on the outside. You just can't imagine all the things that are in there. So there's just once you finish the walk run, done and finish our Memorial Day observance, I said we're done. But that doesn't mean you have to leave.
That's right. That's right.
You can tour the museum, you can tour the aviation park, and just make as much time out there as you would like.
His name, Joe Lane. He comes here once a year. I appreciate you counting us in on the loop to get the word out for all that's going on at Chenault Aviation and Military Museum. The run for the red, white, and blue this coming Saturday. Any other words we can possibly say to make this the most successful?
Well, I have to say this, though, Rick, you have been incredibly gracious every year to let us come, or myself come to promote this. You have to let people know about it, and I think most people in this community know how dedicated you are to this community. And, I was telling him every time I come in here each year, Rick tells me I'm learning something. So, and he's doing something new, and he's doing something different. So when we talk about treasures, I have to say he's a real treasure, and I know y'all appreciate him, but I appreciate him. So I guess I can say, Rick, again, thank you for the time, and next this coming Saturday, just a few days away, we're over 500 plus already. And still registering, so come out and be with us. I think you'll enjoy it.
Awesome. This coming Saturday, Joe, thanks for all that you do. And one thing that I am learning how much I don't know. So that's all right, my friend. Thank you so much.
My pleasure.
He's Joe Lane. We're back to the music.